Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most, here on The Rundown. 2A Views, Conservative News, and Craig, guess what day it is?
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a treat.
That's right, folks. It is Taco Tuesday. Having a good old time. My mic is my mic just a little bit low for you, sir?
You are low. Turn yourself up some there for me.
All right, I will do that. I will do that right now. Here we go. Bam. And where am I? There we go. All right. I'm back. Anyway, we're having a good old time. So tell me, tacos, Taco Tuesday. Actually, we're doing fish tacos today. So
Tacos are on the way. I got the daughter delivery system outside going hunting down the tacos for dinner tonight. So
very, very nice. Very, very nice. It's nice when they get to be older and they can either cook it for themselves or know the appropriate place to go and purchase it.
Oh no, listen, she cooks for herself, but that's at 3 a.m. with all the dishes left and we get nothing. That's just the way she does it. And if I want her to get food, I have to double up on the price in order for her to feel like she's making a profit.
Oh yeah, kids have to profit, at least when they're younger. My daughter, now the funny thing I'll say about my daughter is she's such a phenomenal cook. It's like we'll go out and we'll have something and it'll taste great. And then eventually she'll be like, I could make that better. And within 2 tries, it's better.
Yep. I got that skill too. So yeah, it's just a matter of, hey, I'll cook. You just, you people need to clean this mess up before you start cooking. That's
I'm more the cleaning up the mess person.
I could do that. I clean up my own messes. It's just when they want food and they've left their messes for previous meals.
Well, see, that's the thing. See, when I do cook, I clean as I cook, right?
Yeah,
I mean, in most best I can. You can at least run the water in the big pot so that at least it's real easy to clean and scrub when you're done at the very end. But I'll utensil stuff like that, I'll wash them as I go, just because I don't want to have a big mess to clean up at the end.
Yeah, no, I'm the same, and I try to keep up with the cleaning. It's just if you give me a 5-burner stove, I've got 5 burners going at the same time.
Oh yeah, and I will mess up a bunch of pots, which is also why I do it, because I'm like, okay, yeah, that pot was too small. Let me get another one, right? Yep. I'll just go through stuff. So I figure the easiest way is rather than have someone have to clean up my mess, let me clean up my mess.
There you go. Kind of a good deal. I could see it.
Definitely a good deal. Definitely a good deal. But like I said, now I'm more the okay. Well, let me just do the dishes after everything is done. Because, well, I don't cook that often. When I do cook, it's mostly I'm cooking the meat.
See, I will cook as I go. I really will. But when we get to the end and I've taken all the dishes and put them in the pre-wash or the soak area, that's it. If you want to enjoy the culinary stylings of Mike, then you got to cook. You got to clean some dishes at the end.
There you go. And I'm good with that. I'm definitely good with that. See, yeah. we agree. Isn't that good stuff?
That's it.
All right, folks. Well, let's get ready to get into the program today because we got some fun stuff to discuss. But before we do, we're going to start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. In fact, going to visit the guys tomorrow. I'll let you know how it goes. If you want to get yourself an AR barrel, any caliber, any length, rifle, pistol, doesn't matter. They've got them at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps, and get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourselves a favor. Visit their websites. We make it real simple for you. All you have to do is follow the links in the description. That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourselves a favor. Visit their websites. We make it real simple for you. All you have to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Just go there, check them out. All you got to do, let us know what's up. Let us know where you're watching. Let us know what you think about either what we're talking about or about the show. You don't even have to agree with us. All you have to do is be interesting. But just know that if you do disagree, we do reserve the right to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it was a mockingbird. Go home.
Go home. It was a mockingbird. Go home. All right. Well, hey, let's get it together and let's go ahead and start getting into today's news. This first one here that I wanted to talk about is a study or a poll out of. It's a poll out of being done by ABC, and what they wanted to do is, and they only do this every once in a while, but they wanted to do a poll, specifically talking about Gen Z men and Gen Z women and kind of what their priorities were and what they saw as important things, for them. What were their goals in life? And this first one here, I found kind of interesting, and there were a couple of aspects to it that were interesting. The first here is Gen Z values career and financial independency over starting family. Let's read a little bit of this here. It says a new poll reveals members of Gen Z do not view starting a family as a key to success and are instead prioritizing careers and financial independence. The NBC survey found male Trump voters in that generation are the only ones who view getting married and having children as their top measure of success, while nearly everyone else puts it near the bottom. Gen Z spans 1997 to 2012, so they are between 13 and 28 years old. The poll focuses on adults 18 to 29. So this isn't little kids. And so here's the piece over at the Washington Post that really kind of breaks it down. And if you notice here, across the top, it says, so having children, it's the top priority. So they gave people 13 different things to measure, right? Number one for Trump male voters was having kids and then achieving financial independence, having a job or career, find a career. And then number 4 was getting married. For Trump female voters, it cracked the top half. I mean, at least it was in the top half, but it wasn't the top 5. It was number 6. Once again, though, achieving financial independence, having a job, having a fulfilling job, and then even then getting married didn't crack the top half. Now, let's then take a look over at male Harris voters. For male Harris voters, it was 10 out of 13, meaning it didn't even make the top third, right? Achieving financial independence, which basically means they probably just want to live off the government. It made the top 5 at number 5, and then having a job or career that you find fulfilling. And then here for women, and this is the dangerous one. Think about this, because think about how young women broke overwhelmingly. Single young women broke overwhelmingly for Harris, 12. In other words, only fame and influence ranked lower on their list than that. And guess what was just above that at number 11? Being married. So now, Mike, here's the thing. And this is the reason why when I talk about this, I was like, when I said in the title of this, I said it was at a tipping point. Because Mike, if you do not have young people men and women in a society getting married and having kids, what happens to that society?
What's happening now, right? The breakdown of the household. No two-party parent system to take care and raise the child while another makes a living. You lose either that father or mother's influence that you may have had in the household before.
Well, but Mike, it's even worse than that. If people aren't having kids, you don't have a society. You don't have a next generation to continue
Uh,
a society.
I misunderstood the question then. I thought you meant
Okay.
what happens when you have a single family household. I thought that was your question.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the fact that literally in all of these groups, I mean, it seems like only the male Trump voters have as a group in general, hey, having kids is a number one or at least a top priority.
So, and I thought that was odd also because the number one priority of male Trump supporters is have kids, but number 4 was get married.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of a Gen Z thing.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Okay.
I think that's kind of a Gen Z thing because, well,
I
part
think
of the
they may want
problem
a
is,
dog. They might be looking
well,
for a dog is what they're looking for.
well, part of the problem though is that you have so many Gen Z women that are breaking for Harris that have these, quite frankly, I mean, according to this, I'm not saying all, I'm not even going to say most, I'm going to say, but a huge number, according to this poll, their values are so messed up. Maybe you got these guys thinking, I don't know if I really want to marry that.
Okay. So if the answer is their number one choice is to have children with a conservative woman, yes. Okay, there you go.
Yes. There you
That's
go.
number one. I'll give you that. Yeah. Because you don't want to have a kid and then we like, she comes out and she's like, equal rights, no nukes, and you're like, craps, damn it.
Well, Mike, the thing is, and we've seen polls and we've talked about it before, how young women seem to be breaking more to the left while young men seem to be breaking more to the right. And it's a situation where, in particular, if you are a conservative male, you're probably looking for somebody or looking to spend time with somebody who shares your values. And they've even done, like, now one of the first questions that get asked by young people when they're dating is, well, what are your politics? They want to know what their politics are. Are they Republican? Are they MAGA? And the people on the left seem to have this belief that there is a difference between, well, people on the left and people who are hardcore MAGA seem to think there's a difference between being a general Republican or being MAGA, or they think people on the left think that if you support anything Donald Trump does, you're hardcore MAGA and you're part of the cult. People who are MAGA believe if you don't believe everything that Donald Trump believes, then you're not really MAGA. In fact, you're left wing. So I just think that some of this is a perception thing.
Yeah, it's I didn't get to see the full poll. I bet you and I probably could have reworded it a little bit better, but I think you're right. It's on the track of the priorities for the left and the priorities for the right are different.
Yes, they are. And sadly, the priorities for the left result in an ending of society. And the funniest part is that it even adds to an ending of the society that they want. Because if you're going to have a social welfare system where the people who are working are going to pay for the people who are not, if you don't have people who are working, right? How exactly is this going to happen if you don't have people? Because here's the deal: if you don't have people, meaning if you aren't having children, you're not going to have people, and if you don't have people, how you going to pay for your big government programs?
Yeah, I don't know the dog society. I have no idea how they would do it.
It's scary, and here's the thing: to a certain degree, I don't just blame them because we raised these kids, and these kids are. I had my kids relatively young, so my kids actually still qualify as millennials, but they're the very, very tail end of being millennial. The good thing about Gen Z is Gen Z does seem to be, they tend to be more religious. They tend to be more faith. They tend to be more conservative. And that's largely the males that are kind of breaking that direction. Um, so there are some good things about Gen Z, but they also tend to believe more in support the idea of socialism more.
Yeah, yeah. Again, agreed. There's some minor differences. I'd love to, see the poll, and maybe you and I need to
Mhm.
write one, because I noticed one of the other things was that they defined the that majority. Excuse me, that the Gen Z folks were between the ages of 13 and 28. So they interviewed people between the ages of 20 and 29.
Or yeah, 18 and 29. Well, because
Yeah,
they only did adults.
yeah, sure. But why go 29? You just said it ended at 28.
Yeah. Well, people agree or disagree. I don't know. I just know my kids are at the very cutoff. My son is 30. He's the youngest. I think maybe a year after him is Gen Z. So I call him Gen Z adjacent.
Yes, 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 yes.
But weird stuff, man. All I know is that we have a lot to be concerned about for the future of our nation. If well, first of all, if we don't start having kids, society ends if you don't have kids, and if people don't have it as a priority to have kids. Um, I can say this: as much as I enjoy what I do and I enjoy the work that I do, being a father and now being a grandfather is some of the most fulfilling. It's one of the most fulfilling things in my life, and especially consistently over the time that I've been a father and now a grandfather.
Listen, I'll make you a deal. You go to your wife first and tell her you need to contribute to society by making more kids, and see what she says, and then get your answer, and then I'll let you know what my wife says.
Oh no 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 no! I have learned from helping take care of my grandchildren that there's a reason why the Lord made it so that young people have kids. I
Yeah,
lack
because
both.
you can go and pick up stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't bend over and pick up stuff exactly. I'm just like, yeah, no, or try to sit down on the ground like crisscross applesauce. Yeah, I keep telling my granddaughter, if I do that, I'm not getting back up. You're gonna have to go get some other adult to come lift me up off the ground.
A friend of mine, he recently passed. He was in his 70s. He said, "Listen, when you get to be 50, you start to evaluate the value of things on the ground, because you're like, no, not worth picking up. No, not worth picking up.
Yeah,
I'll wait till
that is so true.
I'll wait till there's 3 before I go down for it.
A, a truer statement has never been uttered. Let me tell you.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of the youths, National Report Card is out once again. They do this once again every few years, and let's just say this: our kids and our schools they're not doing very well. According to the U.S. test scores hit a damning new lows in math, reading since COVID closures. Nation's report card shows. It says here, the writing's on the wall if you can read it. Okay, that is a funny opening. Sobering national test results show more high school seniors are struggling with math and reading than at any point in recent decades, with Education Secretary Linda McMahon calling out a devastating trend Tuesday. The National Assessment of Education Progress, commonly referred to as the nation's report card, showed just 35% of high school seniors were proficient in reading, the lowest score since the assessment began in 1992. The math score for 12th graders was even worse, with just 22% achieving proficiency, the lowest point since the current test began in 2005. Quote, American students are testing at historic lows across all K 12, McMahon said in response to the scores, which were extracted from tests administered to thousands of students in early 2024. Nearly half of America's high school seniors are testing below basic levels in math and reading, she went on. The achievement gap is widening, and more high school seniors are performing below basic benchmark in math and reading. And Mike, the frustrating part about this all is that we are spending now more money than ever on education in places like California, which always complained about being super, super low. But here's what's happening is that money as it's coming in, it's not going into the classroom. It's going to pay administrators. It's going to pay people who are producing this curriculum, and it's going to promote, let's just say, it's going to promote indoctrination. It's going to promote more state and federal bureaucracies than actually putting the money there in the classroom, because class sizes have not gone down, even though student populations have gone up and more money's going in, right? We're spending more money on education, but we're not getting better. And the funny part is that they're going to come back and they're going to say, well, we need more money.
Yeah, listen, Greg, I don't think you could use California as a baseline for what they do with the money they get from the feds, because it's never going to where it's supposed to go. It's all going for illegal immigrant health care or something like that. It's anything other than where it's supposed to go. Is where the money that goes to California goes. The first thing I thought of when you were reading the article was that they said only 22% of 12th graders understand math, and I was like, wow, that's like a third.
Well, but Mike, here's the thing: even in conservative areas and in conservative states, you have to be careful, because even there, you're seeing this once again. This outweighted. They're getting more and more bureaucrats, more and more of the administrators, and the money's not going directly to the classroom. Now you're starting to see revolts in red areas where they're actually taking a lot of that back, and that's been what a lot of the transformation that's taken place there, right there in Florida, is a great example. A lot of the transformation was taken over there, where they're basically, even though it's been red, they're having to take back some of this education establishment, because conservatives generally don't go into public education. So we're now in the process where we're working to try and take those things back. The other thing that happens is in education is we don't value what works. We value what's innovative. If someone can come and tell you, "Oh, well, this is innovative," right? Then that gets all the hubbub and the attention. Like for years, we taught phonics. Then we had this generation where they decided, hey, we're going to start doing whole word and whole language, which turned out to be a bunch of crock. Turned out to basically, we put out a generation of kids who can barely read, who can barely comprehend. And so now they have this new thing that they came out again, something new and innovative, and they're calling it the science of reading. Do you know what the science of reading is? It's phonics. Repackaged, repackaged. And it's like, once again, it works. I don't know why we get away from what works.
Because it's not shiny and new. It's not exciting. That's why. And I can add to it. I've got I do a lot of volunteer work with youths and military programs and kids in that 16 20-year-old range. Half of them can't write. They can type. They can text. They can do all of that. But when you put a yellow pad in front of them and say, "I need 3 paragraphs," you better get your Egyptian hieroglyphics interpreter out to try and figure out what they're writing, because they have no experience at all in actually writing the written word.
I have to admit, with the advent of computers, I've always had bad handwriting, and it's gotten worse. Now, I remember the best class I ever took in high school. I took typing my freshman year, and I can type, no problem. I can write, and I can write. I can even write in cursive.
Yeah, I can write in cursive. Right? My cursive's a little slower because in government work it was all print work, but I could type. You and I took the class for it, but there's no need to take the class for it today, because they got a QWERTY keyboard in front of them at 1 year old. That they're using. So
right. So I just know that we've got to get back to education. We got to get back to basics. There was a guy in Houston who actually had put together some programs to help deal with the public schools there in Houston. And he just says, "Look, it's real easy. Number one, you got to get rid of bad administrators. You got to get rid of bad teachers. People who are in it for the paycheck got to go. People who are in it for the calling, that's who you want. You want people who are going to be innovative and be invested in the kids. And you want you need people working in education who are going to get parents involved and engaged. Not saying the parents got to teach, but the parents have to be partners with the educational system, right? They got to because I remember my parents both had high school diplomas. A lot of the stuff by the time I was in high school, my parents could not do. They could not help me with my homework. But I'll tell you what, if I didn't show up to class, my parents knew about it and they handled it.
Yeah, very true, very true. It's difficult, like you said. Florida's done a reversal on it. They've allowed the liberals to take over the administration and schools and public school systems. And we both know that the liberals and Democrats believe it's okay to reroute money and steal and put it wherever they want to put it. And in Florida, they've identified those that have taken the money out of the classroom and put it in their own pockets or put it elsewhere. And they've either fired them or taken the money back or put them in jail, because that's what you've got to do. If all of a sudden it's okay to siphon off 50% of the funds, so you got a nicer office in your own bathroom, and my kid's still reading in a textbook from 30 years ago, that's not how it should be. It's not how it should be working.
Exactly. So anyway, so we got kids, and by the way, you want to know why kids don't want to get married and to have kids? Why they don't understand the basics of values and things like that? It's because they're not being properly educated by our educational system. So
That's right.
maybe we start educating them right. Maybe they'll start getting their priorities right. Who knows?
Yep. Got to go back to teaching real life world skills.
There you go. I love this one from Washington Free Beacon. FAFO, Israel strikes Hamas leadership in Qatar. Now, the funny part about this is like literally, now mind you, this was after they were like, okay, they continue to take credit for October 7th. And then when there was the bus attack, they took credit for that as well. So Israel decided, you know what? Okay, you're gonna mess around and find out. Let's do this. It says here, Israel on Tuesday morning launched a surprise airstrike on Hamas leadership inside Qatar, targeting four of the terror group's senior leaders, including Chairman Khaled Mashal. The operation came 2 days after President Donald Trump warned of severe consequences if Hamas rejected a U.S. brokered ceasefire deal. And soon after, Hamas did just that. The IDF confirmed that it conducted a precise strike targeting the senior leadership of the Hamas terrorist organization in the early morning hours around Doha, where the terror group's senior leaders have long lived in luxury. Israel aimed to eliminate Mishal and his top aides, including Hamas finance chief Zahir Jabari, Politico member Nizar Adwala, and deputy chairman Khalil Al-Wani, who held talks in Doha with senior Iranian officials earlier this week. It is unclear at this time which officials were killed, which Qatar Interior Ministry said hit a, quote, Hamas residential headquarters. Now, I think this is appropriate largely because Qatar has basically been pretending to try and be a middleman in this, but let's just put it this way. These folks are living in largesse there and under the protection of Qatar. And I know that with the precision that the Israelis have to be able to do these strikes, largely they got from us. I I just think that Qatar is very, very angry about it, but I'm like, who cares about them?
Yeah, listen, it's a war. I don't care what the left wants to say. I don't care what the pro-Palestinian people want to say. It's a war. It's Hamas versus Israel, and the way you win a war is by killing the enemy. I listen, whether they're hiding in Qatar, or Doha, or in Euro Disney. I don't care. You find them and you kill the enemy. It was General Curtis LeMay, who was one of the was an Air Corps officer or bomber in World War II, then an Air Force general in charge of the Cold War bombing in Vietnam. And he said, if you kill enough of them, sooner or later, they'll stop fighting. And well, that's what you have to do. And that includes their leadership. And that's what they've done. So good on them.
Well, it's even more important that that you kill their leadership because they're the ones that are making the decisions. And see, as long as those are the people that are dying, then they don't care. But as soon as we're the people dying, maybe we need to take a look at this whole, ceasefire thing.
That's it. I agree.
Anyway, and and once again, here's what I will say about this. The number one thing about this is we didn't have to do anything. We just had to just let Israel do their thing.
That's right.
It ain't hard to figure out. Stop messing with us, man. Stop messing with our friends. And and a lot of times it's like we're not telling you to stop messing with our friends because we're gonna do anything. We're telling you to stop messing with our friends because they're gonna beat you down.
That's
FAFO.
Yep. Because our friend is off the leash. He's ready to go.
Our friend is off the leash and ready to go buck wild on you. All right, this last one, once again, did not surprise me. I wanted to do this story for a few days, but I wanted to make sure that we cover this because we all know that folks in Hollywood, in particular folks in sports and people who are like, let's just say the woke left, they're into their thing, right? They're into their wokeness. Now, LeBron is into this stuff for a very, very different reason. LeBron is into promoting China because that's where all his sneakers are made. And he has to protect his business empire and make sure that he's got little Uyghur slaves making his tennis shoes. Anyway, it says here, our Chinese friend, this is from the Washington Free Beacon. Our Chinese friends, LeBron James, writes op-ed for CCP mouthpiece involved in propaganda campaign to deny Uyghur genocide. It says here, NBA superstar LeBron James, fresh off a tour to China to promote sneakers as part of his $1 billion Nike endorsement deal, touted basketball as a bridge between the East and West in an unprecedented essay published by the Chinese Communist Party newspaper People's Daily. James, a forward with the Los Angeles Lakers, said he has been deeply moved by the hospitality and friendliness of our Chinese friends during the 15 trips he's made to China in his professional career. He praised China's basketball scene and pledged to contribute to the development of Chinese basketball. Quote, I also feel a deep sense of responsibility to promote sports exchange, wrote James, who is believed to be the first NBA player to write for the People's Daily, the CCP's official newspaper. The essay marks a public relations coup for the CCP, which spends millions of dollars a year on propaganda to promote so-called people-to-people exchange between China and Western nations. People's Daily, the largest newspaper in China, serves as a clearinghouse for such propaganda. It plays a central role, for example, in the CCP's campaign to deny Uyghur genocide in Xinjiang. Now, this is one of the reasons why I will continue to say as much as frustrated as I am with Major League Baseball and with the NFL and some of the woke things that some of the people and some of the decisions that are made and the things that they do. The NBA is beyond hypocritical. They are by far the worst when it comes to siding with not just the wokesters, but in this particular case, literally with the communists.
Craig, I was trying to see what the GOAT said today, and he said they miss one shot and they can't seem to ever make one, and that's why there's clutch to clutch genes in basketball today. By the way, when I say GOAT, I mean Michael Jordan. I don't know who this other guy is.
You didn't even have to say it. I knew you weren't talking about LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron?
No. And it's like I said,
revoke his visa to come back. Let him stay there.
Well, they won't because there's too many people here who value him and his financial contribution to the United States. The reality is that even people on the left who disagree with him are not going to say anything. And that's for me, that's the worst part. It's the hypocrisy of it. It's like, look, All right, fine. You're saying I get that. At least you're putting it out there. You're putting your position out there. But to act like, I mean, can you defend it publicly? Why don't you? Since you want to be out there and be a part of the debate, have the debate. There are plenty of people in the NBA who would disagree with you, would have that discussion with you publicly. But you're too scared, LeBron.
Yeah, that's why he's a flopper, right? Because he's
Right,
afraid to get hit.
exactly. Well, he's an intellectual midget. Let's just be honest. I mean, dude has been he is a great basketball player, no doubt. He's not the greatest, but he is a great basketball player, and all of his fortunes has come because, because he's a great basketball player. If he didn't play basketball, I doubt he would be. No one would give two cents. Wouldn't care a lick about what he has to say. And even with that, the fact that he is a basketball player, I don't understand why that qualifies him for anybody to care what he has to say.
I wouldn't even say he's a great basketball player. I'd say he's above average. And the reason he has such good stats is because of his longevity, because nobody's hit the guy in 15 years.
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one.
We always knew you were a LeBron lover. It's okay.
I'm definitely not a LeBron lover. I am offended that you would accuse me of such a thing.
Well, I mean, I see how you want to stand up for him. It's okay.
No, I don't want to stand up for him. I really don't. Anyway, on that note, moving right along. Now is the time for our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your Hog Holster today on discount. All right. Now, Mike, I didn't get a chance to get your perspective on. I don't think we had a chance to talk about the lady who took the ball from the little kid. Did you have a chance? Did we have a chance to talk about that at all?
I don't think you and I have talked about it on air, but I just, Karen's running amok. That's all I can say. I can't wait till they finally identify her so they can ruin her life.
Well, you know what? You would be surprised because they've actually done that, and they've actually found there's a video they have where they do a little bit of her backstory, and I'm going to share that video with the audience right now as part of our parting shots.
She was born with a complaint form in her hand. She's been divorced more times than she's been married. She doesn't leave tips, she leaves suggestions. She steals baseballs from 10-year-old kids and then complains about how spoiled kids are these days. She is raising her kids to be Reddit moderators one day. Her voice hasn't dropped below 85 decibels her entire life. She once won an argument with a manager at a restaurant she wasn't even eating at. She calls the cops on kids' lemonade stands for not having a permit. She actually changed her name to Karen. She asks to speak to the manager before the store is even built. She gets the same haircut every week and still complains to the manager about it every time. She wears a mask in her car, alone. Her Yorkshire Terrier dog has the same Karen haircut as her. She once asked to speak to the pilot, mid-flight. She once called the fire department because her neighbors were having a cookout. When she walks into a store, the staff call the manager right away, without her ever saying anything. She gets in fights about spot stealing for street parking on streets she doesn't even live on. She is the most Karen woman in the world.
I don't always drink, but when I do, I become everyone's problem. Stay outraged, my friends.
That's her. It's definitely her. Please find us.
Now, I have to admit that when I saw her, I thought that she had looked familiar. And I found an image from an old movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and turns out she's the one who tried to steal the golden ticket from little Charlie there.
It's true. It's true. It's her. It's definitely her.
Oh, crazy stuff, crazy stuff. All right, these next two are coming to us from our friends over at the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. You heard about the raid at the Hyundai battery plant by LG over there in Georgia. Well, there was another raid. ICE enforcement action at chocolate factory nabs 475 illegal Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, that's like actually 237 and a half real people. So
That's pretty good math right there, dude.
Oh,
Really fast.
I'm quick with the math. I'm quick with the math.
There you go. There you go. And then finally, as a result, Axios was complaining about the stabbing victim, the person who was stabbed on the light rail train there in not Georgia, in North Carolina, not in Charlotte. It was in Charlotte. Anyway,
Yeah.
one of the complaints from Axios was that there are too many video cameras. Well, Democrats have doubled down on that argument. It says here, Dems warn surveillance videos perpetuate stereotypes by actually depicting events.
Yeah. It just perpetuates it. It's horrible. We need to correct it. Yeah. We need to correct it.
Well, they're not interested in the truth. They're not interested in reality. They're interested in perpetuating their lies.
That's it.
That there be how it be. All right, folks, so that brings us to the end of the program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there, get yourself some AR barrels. They got rifle caliber, they got pistol caliber, they got any length you want. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, EMS, fire, whatever it may be, place your order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Once again, please take a moment and visit our sponsors by following the links in the description to this program. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun. Stay safe. We will see you mañana.